Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube live series presented to you by CompTIA. My name is Justin, and I'm coming to you from just right outside of Chicago, Illinois, where our CompTIA headquarters is located. And I will be your host throughout November as we speak to three amazing people. We are calling them our cybersecurity heroes. And today, I will be talking with Juan Fernandez, a real hero in the industry, and he will be discussing with us how he got started in IT and some of the great things he's doing as an IT professional and why we are honoring him this month. So this will be the first installment of three as we highlight our real cybersecurity heroes. And if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and that notification bell to be notified whenever CompTIA drops a video. Now, before we get started, I want to let everyone in the audience know that we will be announcing the winner of our first Security Plus 601 bundle giveaway towards the end of the session. So please stick around to find out if you're going to be that lucky winner. If you haven't yet submitted an entry, you still have a chance to win. So check out the description to find out more information. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first hero, Juan Fernandez. Juan, would you like to introduce yourself and let the listeners know where you're calling in from?
Sure. It's good to be here, everyone, and thank you for having me. It's an absolute honor to be here. And I've been in IT for just a little north of 26 years, so definitely been in it for a little while. I am calling in from Dallas, Texas.
Love Dallas. Great. Well, thank you for that brief intro. And we'd also like to know where you all are listening in from. So please use the chat, use the comment section and let us know. And also our great CompTIA staff will be addressing questions that come in that you may have. So please feel free to use that chat window. So, all right, I'm going to jump right into it. Juan, how did you get started in cybersecurity?
Well, my journey is a little bit different than a lot of people, right? So I consider myself a first-generation technologist. Where I come from is a little bit of a rural city and a little bit of place, long, far and away from anything technology centric. So it was a little bit of a different journey for me. It was a lot harder. There wasn't a lot of opportunity for me to get into technology. So it was a little bit of a different road. And I think for a lot of people that may be joining today, they may be facing some of those opportunities. And so unlike everybody here, my journey is similar to yours, right? And I originally jumped into technology. I found, working at a help desk was something that I really loved, and I wanted to be able to help some people. I remember, jumping into this journey of, this challenge of let's see who can take the A+ and pass it. And I thought, oh yeah, finally something that I can do and I feel good about. Unfortunately, I failed the A+. And let me tell you what, I studied for that thing. And I say I studied a lot, and I was hard on myself. I just kept lying to myself saying, you studied as best you could. You do all those things psychologically. Oh yeah, you did the best you could. You gave it your best shot. No, I really didn't. Right. I could have done better. And I said, you know what, you go pick yourself back up and you go and try that again. And luckily I had my girlfriend at the time. She was like, hey, you know what, you can do this. Like, I really think you can. So go try again. And so I did. And honestly, then I passed the A+, and that's what started it all, right? I started my A+, and I got my Network Plus, and then I moved on to my Security Plus, and I absolutely found love. And it's been a great journey for me starting off there.
Okay. Following that question, so with many different pathways to choose when it comes to IT, you can go software or web developer, data, networking. Why did you choose cybersecurity as your path?
There's a huge deficit in security. And I think that even back then when I started off, there wasn't a lot of people talking about security, right? It was the least common, or least, it wasn't a story anybody wanted to hear about, right? They wanted to hear about just, help me get stuff going. Don't tell me how to be secure. And I had to make a decision then, right? I was taking my A+, my Network Plus, and there was a Y in the road, and I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to be good at? And I think that when I decided at that time, I was like, okay, I'm going to either go Server Plus and I'm really going to start veering this way, and I'm going to look at server administration, or I'm going to kind of stay this security path. And I really think that this is kind of an overarching opportunity where I can, if I learn enough about all these concepts, that this will be the opportunity for me. So that's where I made the decision, is to really push down that opportunity from cybersecurity, is because I felt that there was a need for it. And I saw it even in the business that I was working at. I was still a junior engineer. I was still young in my career, 5 years in, there was a big need for security, and there still is today. And so that was the reason I chose it.
So given the fact that you're in this role as a security professional, what does your day-to-day look like? What do you do as a cybersecurity professional?
Well, there's a lot of different things that you do as a cybersecurity professional, but right now my current role is to oversee all of the opportunities that we deliver. So right now I've built another IT company. So I provide IT services to customers or people that are looking to, that need technology but can't afford to have somebody on staff. So we provide services to those people, but the conversation with those customers and the conversation with my team is always security first. Right. It has to be security first. Start at the top. Here's the opportunities, the problems we're going to solve, and then here are all the things and technologies we're going to implement into it. So definitely lots of opportunity, but the security first conversation is not one that people like to have. You definitely cross a lot of roads, and you have to build a lot of relational equity with those individuals so that they trust you.
So you've had a long history as a professional in security. What have you found to be the most rewarding part of working in security?
I think the biggest thing is that I think for everybody here, and the reason that we get into technology is because we haven't found some way to help. And for me, that's my biggest thing. And I think that seeing businesses transform themselves from where they are to where they should be is like the greatest thing for me, because I'm a builder at heart, right? I love to build things. I love to develop things. I love to see them come into play. I love to see them go through fruition, and I love to see them operate and scale. And I think that sometimes as professionals, we don't realize that we have the opportunity to transform an organization. We think that our contribution is just a small one and that it isn't really going to make a difference. But in fact, if you take it seriously, you can become the most critical piece of that organization, and guiding them with the proper thoughts and security and leadership, and having those hard conversations when maybe you don't believe that you can is important. You got to you take your seat at the table and you say, hey, look, we have these opportunities that we need to address, and we need to fix them. And I think that for me has been one of the biggest things, is really having those hard conversations, no matter who's in the room, and taking the seat at the table and saying, look, we got to do good business. And that's what's really helped me propel my career over time and gain that recognition, is that they trusted me because I gave them good advice when no one else wanted to give it to them. So that's my thought.
All right. So now for the meat and potatoes of this, can you tell the audience, when your team's work proactively identified a cybersecurity threat or prevented a cyber attack?
Absolutely. I think that this is an ironic story because, when you're first starting off in IT, and again, I was just getting ready. I was taking my security plus. So I was doing a lot of work and having these hard conversations and holding my ground on it. I heard that I was going to get audited. Right. I was in a medical office and I worked for a large eye care clinic. And during that time, HIPAA had just come out. And this was about a year and a half later. And they said, hey, look, we're going to come in and we're going to audit you. We want to see all of your policies, your procedures, the way you do things. Like, we want to do a risk assessment of your organization, and we're going to look at everything. And I got kind of freaked out. I was like, man, this is going to audit my work. I might get fired for this. And then all of a sudden, so I started really, okay, let's look at this and make sure I got all the boxes checked here, right? So I started going through my infrastructure, and I had it all documented. I had my policies in place. I had my procedures in place. I felt confident about that we were going to pass a risk assessment. So I started scanning our network for potential internal opportunities. And all of a sudden I found, as I started to dig through IP addresses that were responding back to pings that they shouldn't, and reporting that there was open Samba shares on them, I couldn't quite understand what it was. So as I started to dig into it, I noticed that a lot of these multifunction devices that were on our network were actually responding to SNMP and also responding to Samba requests. And so as I dug into it, I jumped on the device and I started digging. I found that there was an encrypted hard drive. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I was able to browse that hard drive and I was able to find this data. And I freaked out. So I was like, oh no, like, I'm going to get fired. Like, how did I miss this? And come to find out, I called the manufacturer and they were like, that's not true. There's nothing on that device. And I said, yes, there is. So during that time, you could submit information to the three-letter agencies, Health and Human Services, as well as the FBI, reporting this so that it wasn't a finding on your risk assessment when they came in for audit. So I submitted a request, and the next thing I knew, the FBI called me.
What was that like, getting a call from the FBI?
Oh, man, you don't want to get called by the FBI. I was already scared. I'm a junior at this, right? I'm not supposed to. I know what I'm doing. I'm starting to study for my other certifications. And this isn't the time of my life where I need friction, right? So when they contact our organization, they're like, hey, we need to speak to Juan Fernandez. My boss comes in and he's like, hey, the FBI wants to talk to you. What's this about? And I was like, well, we got some devices on our network and I think this is what it's about. And he's like, well, is this a big deal? And I was like, I don't know. I guess so. If they're calling, I got to talk to them. So I called the FBI field agent and let him know, hey, here's what we got. And hey, I had already written up a procedure around it. We had already started working on network topologies to move them off into their own separate VLANs. So there was a lot going on that we kind of scrambled for, right? But they weren't calling because they were trying to, bust me for it.
Right.
It was ironic. We worked with them and the manufacturer to create policies and procedures around and then help them improve their product. And they actually sent me out some real encrypted hard drives and we installed them in the device. And then we actually wrote policy and procedure around how we were going to dispose of that data. And we submitted it. And ironically, it became a HIPAA compliance regulation on the disposal of data and multifunction devices. So it was really cool how all that shaped up. And I was really honored. But at the time, I was scared. I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do here.
So is there anything you walked away with? Like, what did you learn from that whole experience, or what did your team learn from that experience?
It was, the opportunity is that sometimes, doing the right thing is the right thing, no matter what it takes, no matter what it's going to bring out. I mean, I know I had some exposure there. It could have been me that was, maybe I didn't make sure I do my due diligence on a device as it came in or whatever it may have been. I decided to go up, hey, let's just make this right. And I think doing the right thing was what I learned the most about there. And it gained a lot of reputational credit in our organization because they knew we were going to do the right thing no matter what. And I think that for me was a big impact. And it also really helped the organization as a whole, which made everything in my life a lot easier. But I will say this, having the hard conversation with them about making sure we understood that all these multifunction and these printers on our environment were the most unsecure thing and that we had to deal with that was a big conversation. And I've actually taken that to every organization that I've worked at to date and said, hey, look, line in the sand, we got to fix this problem first and foremost. So it not only helped there, but it's helped many companies after that.
So given all that you've done throughout your professional career, how do you feel like cybersecurity certifications has helped you to be a better cybersecurity professional?
It's given me a great foundation. I find myself going back to that all the time. I always, you talk about the keep it simple methodology. That basic fundamental knowledge I use as an education opportunity for a lot of people, right? I teach a lot of people how things work. I have a whole thing called Making IT Simple is because I have the knowledge that it takes to help people understand basic concepts of whether it's networking or PC or server or infrastructure or cloud, whatever it is. And security being the number one is the hardest thing to teach people.
Yeah.
Why they need it. So it's really an opportunity for us to be an educator, not just for our own self-knowledge, but also as you learn, you can give back. And I think it's really important. It's super important for everybody to, have a better understanding. And it's that fundamental knowledge has changed my career trajectory completely. I guarantee I would be somewhere totally different if I didn't have those best practices at heart.
So with that, what advice would you have for someone who is considering a career in cybersecurity?
100%. I say chase that horse, chase that rabbit all the way down the hole. I mean, if you're in love with it and you understand, you got your A+, you got your network plus, you got your Security Plus and you find that Security Plus is your absolute love, I say go for it. I mean, we got a huge deficit right now of security individuals. And right now, I mean, there's a lot of employers that are looking for those certifications to make sure that you have the basic fundamental knowledge to be able to deliver that technology and that advice. So I absolutely, as a passion of mine and as a recommendation from the bottom of my heart, please take your education seriously. The best investment you're ever going to make is going to be in yourself. And I encourage everybody to take that investment seriously, because you investing in yourself is going to pay the rest of your life versus just, trying to go get a piece of paper. Take it seriously and make sure you learn those concepts and internalize them. Become a professional and good at what you do, and you will go a long way.
Well, there you have it, folks. An amazing story and some great advice from a real cybersecurity hero. So we really appreciate you, and thank you so much, Juan, for sharing your story with us and your advice. So now, before we announce this week's bundle winner, if you haven't yet joined us on Discord, we invite you to continue the conversation there. We have study groups for CompTIA certifications, as well as career advice and general tech discussions as well. We'd also like to invite you to become a member of our new CompTIA Rewards program. Share the CompTIA love and get rewarded for doing it. For every friend that you refer to the CompTIA store, you'll earn a $25 gift card. Seems pretty simple. And reward members also get advance notice on discounts and special promotions from CompTIA. So check out the link in the description to sign up. And now for the moment most of you have been waiting for. We're going to have our wonderful guest, Juan, announce the winner of tonight's bundle giveaway.
Who's it going to be?
Take it away.
All right. The name is going to be Jaron Painter. Congratulations, Jaron.
Congratulations, Jaron.
Yeah.
All right. And remember, everyone, we are giving away 2 more Security Plus bundles. So check out the link in the description to enter to win. The bundles are for the Security Plus 601 exam, and it includes 12 months of Cert Master Learn, Cert Master Labs, an exam voucher, and a retake voucher, just in case you might need it. So we'll be announcing another winner next week during our Cybersecurity Hero Live broadcast. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. Special thanks to our guest, Juan Fernandez. And remember, there'll be a new live next Thursday. So be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to be reminded when we got new content to share. And again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Juan. We've had a fantastic time tonight.